Hey guys! It's me, Mr. 250. And welcome back to Umineko. So yeah, there's a phone ringing, and we're gonna keep going here. That's convenient, isn't it? Answer it! Maria's probably fine, you gave her that charm. Dang, this phone's got a really long ring to it. With that one sentence, the ring of the phone, which had sounded like a scream for help, started to sound like a ghastly cry from some unknown person. Aunt Natsui hesitated over whether to pick up the receiver. Yeah, the emergency repair people came through the typhoon and came to fix it for us. I'm pretty sure they're just like getting ripped to bits right now, whatever's happening. Like, we're not helping them with how long we're waiting. I stretched out my hand to take the receiver, but Aunt Natsui grabbed it before I could reach. It's like a bunch of kids. If you don't do it, I will. No, I'm gonna do it! Grab. We all held our breath, trying to figure out who the person on the other end of the phone was. But for a while, Aunt Natsui kept saying, hello. A silent phone call? There's no way Maria and the others would do something so creepy. Which means, could this phone call possibly really? Natsui stopped repeating hello and strained her ears, because she thought she heard something far away on the other end of the receiver. What was it? Singing? That's an odd one. Singing. I half forced the receiver from the stunned Aunt Natsui's hand and pressed it against my ear. At first, I didn't hear anything. But, because I had been told about it beforehand, I noticed. It sounded far away from the receiver rather than someone speaking in a quiet voice. And it sounded like a girl singing a song. That voice did sound like Maria's. Oh, I hear it now. Sounds kind of like the, like the singing dog from Animal Crossing. But that just made the situation even more inexplicable. At the very least, the one who had made the phone call hadn't been Maria. After all, Maria was singing some song far away from the receiver. In that case, the one who made the phone call should have been Genji-san, Kumasawa-san, or Dr. Nanjo. And yet, they weren't saying anything. Why? For what reason? The person who made this phone call, who was it? Oi! Moshi-moshi! Dare da? Henji o shiro! Utatte ru no wa Maria nano ka? Henji o shite kure! Nani ga okotte n da yo? Douyu koto da? Wakarane. Hitotsu ieru koto wa, tabun, kore wa wana de. Soshite, Maria ga kiken da tte koto dake da. Aunt Natsui took the receiver again, but after yelling into it several more times, she realized that she wasn't getting anywhere and hung up. It might have been because it took us like 2 minutes to answer the phone. She then dialed quickly. She clicked her tongue. That's right. If the phones were working, we should be able to reach the police. But judging by Auntie's reaction, the outside telephone line still didn't connect.
罠かもしれないことは分かってても行かないわけにはいかない。
ああ、まったくだぜ。ジェシカと夏代おばさんはここにいてくれ。
When Aniki and I tried to dash out, Aunt Natsui stopped us.
お待ちなさい。あなたたちだけに行かせるわけにはいきません。私も行きます。ジェシカはここで待ちなさい。
私だけのけ者かよ。冗談じゃない。私も行くぜ。
そうだな。その方がいいかもしれねえぜ。
That's the one thing. I mean, obviously she's killed 6 people, so, you know, maybe it's not the best, but for some reason, they definitely seem to not be able to kill people in larger groups, and I'm not sure why yet. Or at least they haven't, which is something they might want to work to their advantage here.
電話が俺たちをさらに分散させる狙いがあるってんなら、留守番を残すのは適当じゃねえ。
議論する暇も惜しい。みんなで行こう。
Aunt Natsui raised the rifle high and took the lead. I couldn't go unarmed myself. I found a 3-pronged candlestick and readied it. Oh good. Dangerous. Although the pins on it, which were used to fit candles, were short, it was almost like a 3-pronged spear. Sure, why not? Hello? Is anybody out here? Then the 4 of us left the study. We left the study, which should have been the safest place inside the mansion. By doing this, we had been lured out, even though we had barricaded ourselves in a safe, closed room. Perhaps we were doing exactly the same thing that Grandfather had done when he disappeared from that room.
Maria! どこにいるんだよ! 返事をしろ!
I listened closely, but didn't hear anything. The mansion was vast, and since the passing typhoon was making its last stand, the sound of the rain was even noisier than before.
マリアちゃんは確か客までテレビを見たいと言ってたよね。
Yeah, we should probably check the parlor.
階下に降りてみよう。
そうですね。行ってみましょう。みんなは周りに用心して。
おい。
With Aunt Natsui in the center, her rifle readied, and her finger on the trigger. We moved in a group, our backs together, checking our surroundings in all directions. It was just as though the magic of that magic circle designed to spread discord had worked. We had split up and, furthermore, had thrown them out into dangerous territory. In other words, even now, we were doing just what the culprit wanted us to do. This was a separate world where it wouldn't be odd for anything to suddenly occur. Aunt Natsui nervously pointed the barrel of the gun at every dark spot and shadow. It felt like that motion was out of fear rather than caution. But the rifle she held in her hand should have been a trump card that the culprit was afraid of.
僕はずっと思ってたんだ。カノン君のように胸にあのアイスピックを突き刺すことは不可能ではないと思う。でも母さんたちのように頭蓋骨を打ち抜いて眉間に突き立てるなんて簡単なことじゃないと思うんだ。
that takes a lot more force to do that.
犯人はそれだけバカ力ってことか。
多分あのアイスピックを飛ばす、あるいは打ち込む射出機のような武器があるんだよ。
At the very least, you could say that they had something that gave them an inhuman strength, some sort of tool, either an actual tool or just devil power itself or something, I don't know.
人力だけであれだけ深々と衝突するにはあの絵は短すぎる。
いずれにせよ頭蓋骨を打ち抜くほどに強力です。カノンの傷も肺にまで届いていたそうです。もし相手の姿を見て決して前に出ないように、私の後ろから出てはいけませんよ。
Just how sinister and frightening was this weapon that could shoot those creepy ice picks? And could I do anything to combat it with just this candlestick in my hand? Unlikely. In the first murder, the culprit had probably assaulted all 4 of her parents at once as they discussed the inheritance problem in the dining room. And we also had 4 people. Apparently I wasn't the only person thinking this. George Aniki, Jessica, and of course Aunt Natsui were stretching their senses to the utmost limit, in the highest and worst state of tension, slowly advancing one step, then another. What have we done? Because of the seeds of doubt spread by that one letter, we threw Maria and the rest into the middle of this terrifying world. Kind of feels very jungly, doesn't it? That music, just a little bit. I like it. We finally reached the first floor. I hear the singing. The parlor was just across the hall. When we listened carefully, we could hear it faintly. Maria's eerie singing voice. She wasn't singing naturally, as though she were in a good mood. She was singing mechanically, like she was at a graduation ceremony and she had been ordered to. The song she was singing was just a common folk song, one that everyone has probably sung in school at one time or another. But why that, in the middle of the night, alone, with all of her heart, over and over? Why? When we had just left the study, we'd called out in loud voices, asking Maria where she was. But this time, no one said even a single word. We hid our breath in the sounds of our footsteps and, intensely aware to the point of being completely high-strung, we stepped forward. Spooky. The door to the parlor was closed, but we could hear Maria's singing voice through it. Aunt Natsui put her hand on the handle of the doorknob when George Aniki stopped her.
扉は僕が開ける。夏日おばさんとバトラ君は武器を構えてて。
Yeah, Battler, get ready your candlestick.
気をつけて。
開けると同時に攻撃してくるかもしれないぜ。ジョージ兄さん、注意して。
I'm just thinking how funny it would be if they just happened to have the phones working and someone left it off the cradle, accidentally called the room somehow maybe because they were just messing with it, and then Maria's just like watching TV and singing, and nothing bad is happening at all.
じゃあ、行くよ。
He tried to open it, but immediately felt the hard resistance of the lock. Aunt Natsui took the bundle of keys from her pocket and gave them to George. They were about 10 keys, and none of us had any clue which was which. Because of this, George had to fumble around loudly and test several of the keys. Since we had hidden our footsteps, preparing to make a surprise attack on the room, this felt almost fatal. The whole time, we could hear Maria's voice from the parlor singing the same song over and over. It was like a broken, crazy cassette tape. In the morning, we had been in that room the whole time. All of the frightening things had occurred outside that room. So we had been under the impression that only that room was safe. That baseless impression was quickly falling apart.
開いた。
ありがとう。ジョージ君とジェシカは後ろに下がって。
おばさん、一気に飛び込んで左右に分かれよう。扉を開けてボサッとしたら、例のアイスピックがど真ん中に飛んでくるかもしれねえぜ。
承知しています。いいですか？
やっぱ嫌だって言いてえな。
I readied myself. If they were going to be throwing ice picks, I needed to... The absurdity of that. I needed to be ready with my candlestick.
行きます。
Aunt Natsui and I had rammed into the door before flying into the parlor, quickly splitting up left and right and searching the parlor for someone who might be waiting for us. But what our eyes landed upon was an incredibly strange sight. Oh no, I knew it. I knew it, everyone's dead. The parlor was stained with blood. This place, where we had spent almost the entire day, where we had pressed in together to protect ourselves from some unknown malice, had become stained with fresh blood, had become an ocean of blood. On the floor lay Genji-san, Kumasawa-san, and Dr. Nanjo, their entire bodies stained bright red with the blood. But the only way we could identify them was by their clothes. That was because... Ah, that's right, this was how the whole tragedy started. Their faces were all squished. Okay, Maria, we're gonna... Maria, stop. 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 Mechanical chanting thing is too much. Their faces were all squished up like Dad and the others in the storehouse. And you couldn't even tell where the eyes and noses were. It was like someone had eaten apart a tomato pot stew wrapped up in a pie crust. All torn up. Ooh, ah. And that wasn't all. Their bodies had other wounds. They were those demon ice picks. They were in Genji-san's stomach, Dr. Nanjo's thigh, no, his knee? That's right, his knee. In the epitaph, the sixth twilight was the stomach, and the seventh twilight, the knee was gouged. So, after seeing one of them stuck near Kumasawa Bachan's calf, I couldn't help masochistically laughing. That's right. At the sixth twilight, gouge the stomach and kill. At the seventh twilight, gouge the knee and kill. At the eighth twilight, gouge the leg and kill. Now even the eighth twilight is over. And the next one, the ninth okay, Maria, we're gonna have to like do something here. We gotta do something. Can we like? Okay, that's better. At least the audio is more balanced now. And I don't know what that line of text said. I'll look at it later. Ooh, that's spooky. Ooh. Maria was there. She was facing the wall in the inner part of the room, standing stock still, completely alone. She faced away from this horrible scene, standing by the wall, singing her song over and over. There was nothing else in the room. Just the corpses of the three who had been brutally killed, and the receiver, which was still off its hook, showing that it had been this room that the call had come from. Just that, and Maria, her back to the scene, kept facing the wall as she kept on singing. We couldn't even scream at this bizarre scene. We could only stare shocked, our mouths hanging loosely open. Jessica called out to her, but Maria showed no reaction. Alone, she kept singing, on and on. We had come here, trying to save Maria from some approaching danger. So, now that we had found her, we should have been running up to Maria, hugging her, joyous that she was safe. And yet, not one of us could do that. Everyone thought it, but they couldn't say it. After all, because that's right. Even if that's crazy, no, it couldn't be. At some point, Aunt Natsumi and I had pointed our weapons at Maria's back. I yelled at Maria in a violent voice, but there was no reaction. She just kept singing. With the candlestick still readied, I ran up to her and forcefully, no, violently slammed my hand down on her shoulder. Then, I pulled on her shoulder, forcing her to turn around. There, now we can fix the audio. Maria's small body was quickly pulled down and fell. And, as though unhappy about how her singing had been interrupted, Maria looked into my face with her usual expression. Even in this gruesome situation, she was just like normal.
Maria, これはどういうことなんだ? 誰がやった?
おう、ベアトリーチェ。
いい加減にしろ!
I threw the candlestick I had been holding against the wall. The violence of that reckless sound should have gone straight into Maria's heart. But Maria's expression didn't change at all.
よすんなバトラ君。マリアちゃん、今度こそ君は3人を殺す犯人の顔を見たはずだよ。犯人は君に手紙を渡したというベアトリーチェなのかい？
おう、ベアトリーチェ。
ああ、ならこれで確定したぜ。19人目はいるんだ。ベアトリーチェは実在するんだ。じゃあマリア、これくらいは教えてくれるよな。奴はこの3人をどうやって殺したんだ？ 何をどうやったらあんなむごい殺し方ができるんだ。
知らない。
知らねえってことはねえだろ。この部屋での出来事だぞ。歌を歌うのに夢中で気づかなかったとか言い出すんじゃねえだろうな。
落ち着いてバトラ君。マリアちゃん、僕とお話ししようね。
George Aniki, as he always did, crouched down next to Maria so that their eyes met, and talked to her very kindly.
マリアちゃんはどうして壁を向いてお歌を歌っていたのかな。
ベアトリーチェがここでね、壁を向いてお歌をずっと歌っていなさいって言ったの。
じゃあベアトリーチェがここへやってきたんだね。その時にはまだ源氏さんたちは生きていたんだよね。
みんなで客間に来て座ってた。源氏さんはちゃんと鍵をかけてたよ。
確かに鍵はかかってたが、じゃあどうやってベアトリーチェは客間に入ってきたってんだよ。
でもベアトリーチェは魔女だから鍵なんか関係ない。蝶々になって扉の隙間から通り抜けてきたんだよ。
はあ、冗談も休み休み言いやがる。そんなわけねえだろ。お前は何を言ってやがるんだ。
信じられないよね。だから言いたくなかった。どうせ言っても信じないの。でもベアトリーチェは魔女なの。不思議な魔法で何でもできるの。だからベアトリーチェは鍵のかかった扉なんか全然関係ないんだよ。
それで現れたベアトリーチェは、そしてみんなはどうしたの。
ベアトリーチェは言ったよ。おじいさまの書斎は強力な力に守られていてどうしても入れない。だからあと3人の生贄はこの客間の4人の中から選ぶって。みんな嫌だって言ったよ。熊沢さんは嫌だ嫌だってすごい言ってた。でもベアトリーチェは選ぶよ。そしたらね、ベアトリーチェはマリアはいいよって言ってくれたの。どうしてだと思う？バトラがマリアの安全を祈って念を込めてくれたあの火星の5の魔法陣のサソリのお守りがあった
Yep,
から。
I figured she was gonna be okay because of that charm, but everyone else? Nope.
だからその力でベアトリーチェは私にだけは何もできなかった。だから生贄はマリアじゃない3人に決まったの。そしたらね、ベアトリーチェはね、言ったの。
さあさあ、壁に向かってお歌を歌って聞かせなさい。あなたはたくさんたくさんお歌を歌うから何が思って何が聞こえても聞こえない聞こえないわからない。さあさあ、楽しいお歌をわらわにたくさん聞かせておくれ。
だからマリアはずっとお歌を歌ってた。ずっとずっと歌ってたんだよ。だから何も聞こえないわからない。そしたらバトラたちがやってきたんだよ。
それを信じろってのか。バカにするんじゃねえぜ。
マリアを疑う？マリアをこの場で殺してみる？そんなことしてもベアトリーチェはいなくならない。これで第8の番は終わったよ。ベアトリーチェは蘇る。
ふざけんな。もうそんな話は金輪際ごめんだぜ。魔女なんているもんか。煙に巻かれてたまるか。俺は認めねえぞ。ベアトリーチェなんていいね。絶対に俺が認めねえ。だから存在なんかさせねえ。蘇りもさせねえ。伝説は永遠に伝説のままだ。この俺がそんなことを認めね
よせよバトラ。マリアが殺したわけでも見殺しにしたわけでもない。ベアトリーチェが来てマリアは抵抗できず従わざるを得なかっただけだぜ。
あれ、夏日おばさん。 おばさんがいない。
Well, isn't everything just going sunshine and roses here? Yeah. I don't know if there's... how much longer there is in this. Like, in this section to where I'd have a good point to stop. This seems like a good point as any. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Everyone... Who do we got left? We haven't gotten anything updated yet, have we? I don't think we have. Oh, no, we have. We've gotten updated. We've definitely gotten updated. I must have missed the sound at some point. Let's see. Genji... found in the parlor, his stomach had been pierced by a weapon resembling an ice pick, and his face had been smashed. Yep, blood. 6 Twilight gouge the stomach and kill. 7 Twilight gouge the knee and kill. And at the 8th Twilight gouge the leg and kill. So yeah, all we got left are 5 people. Not great. But we're going to stop it off there. Sorry if this is a bad spot. I've been trying to avoid leaving it off on cliffhangers, but this section is not very well set up for Let's Play, is it? Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you next time for more Umineko. Bye!